Alright, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TopCap Gaming, and welcome back to the part 2 video of our discussion for 24 new possible weapons to be implemented into the next few updates of Team Fortress 2. Now, if you haven't checked out part 1 first, I highly recommend that you do so because, obviously, we cover the first 12 weapons of our discussion for these 24, and I kind of explain my reasons behind doing this video. And so, yeah, if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend that you pause right around now and do so. And I'll wait a couple of seconds for you to get back. Drink some water for now. Alright, you're back? Sweet. So, the last 12 weapons that we're covering is going to be one MultiClass Shotgun, and a few weapons for the Demoman, the Engie, and the Medic. Sorry, Scout, looks like you're getting diddly squat for the weapons that we've had. But you never know, when the update actually comes around, you might get something. Anyways, let's just get right to it then. Anyways, to start off things, we'll talk about the MultiClass Shotgun called the X-Vermin 8R, in which on hit it causes bleed for each pellet hit. However, the negatives are a minus 15% damage penalty and a minus 10% slower rate of fire. So, to put it simply, the negatives help offset the amount of damage that you'll do over time with the on-hit effect. And in addition to that, this weapon won't be viable from long range because you'll definitely be hitting for less pellets. But if you're up close and personal, this weapon's going to work wonders. Alright, so moving on from the multi-class, unfortunately that's the only weapon that is a multi-class. We have the Demoman, and this Demoman weapon is called the Groundbreaker. So it's a sticky bomb launcher that has a plus 20% bonus damage versus buildings and a 0.5 second faster arm time. In addition, the explosions have a greater knockback to players. And however, the negative is a minus 50% clip size. So you won't have a lot of sticky bombs to work with, but this is pretty much good for clearing Engie nests because the explosion will definitely knock back Engies further from their nest, and this is basically the secondary version of a lock and load. So it'll help switch up Demomen that want to use a different primary. And so the second weapon the demo is getting is the Mighty Mallet, and while active it has a 50% bonus jump height and a 25% bonus movement speed. And on top of that, it has 100% reduced in push force. And the negatives are a minus 50% damage vulnerability and a minus 50% slower weapon switch speed. So I really like this weapon idea because most of the other weapons for the Demoman only are really viable when you're using some form of a Demo Knight setup, whether that be a mixed or pure. Most of the other weapons, like the Islander, aren't too great unless you have a shield to pair up with it. However, the Mighty Mallet works alone for both a Demo Knight setup and a regular primary and sticky secondary. So yeah, the negatives help make sure that even though that you'll receive a reduction in push force and you'll have more momentum with this, you'll still be pretty vulnerable when you whip this weapon out, much like the power jack. So even though that this weapon might seem overpowered, you're still going to be quite squishy if you don't use this in a regular Demo Knight loadout. So that's everything for the Demoman. Let's move on to the Engineer. The Engineer has quite a few weapons, so we'll start off with the Jupiter. It's a pistol that fires a special bolt that can remove sappers from friendly buildings. And on top of that, it has a 25% damage bonus versus players. However, the negatives are a 66% reduced clip size, a 90% reduced max secondary ammo, and it costs 10 metal to remove a sapper with a bolt and no random critical hits. So this is to kind of pair up with the Frontier Justice, in which you'll have a way to help out your buildings from a much longer distance, and is a nice alternative to having a regular pistol or the Wrangler. However, the negatives make sure that you can't just use the amount of secondary ammo that the pistol normally comes with, so you're sacrificing the amount of damage you can normally put out with a pistol in order to have more utility. Next on the list is the Great Peace Preserver, and on hit, reduce 10% of the target's ammo supply. And in addition to that, it has a 15% bonus health on wearer. However, the negatives are a 50% reduced clip size and a 25% reduced damage. So with this one, the idea is to keep hitting your enemies and lowering their ammo while they're trying to take out their your sentry nest. So the idea is, say Heavy has 200 ammo and you hit him a couple of times, the amount of ammo that's in his clip will reduce each time you hit him. So it goes down by, I believe, if my math is correct off the top of my head, about 20 ammo per time you hit him with the 10% that this ability has. So definitely really good for enemies that are trying to take out your nest, whether or not they're ubered. If you hit them, they'll be receiving a shortage of their ammo. So, and in addition to that, the negatives help offset what seems to be a pretty OP effect for this shotgun. Anyways, so the next one is the Space Cowboy. It is a pistol, and while active, the first enemy that you hit or have your sentry hit is marked. And while a target is marked, you take 30% reduced damage from all other sources except from the marked target. And on top of that, it has a 50% bonus damage versus the marked target. However, the negatives are a minus 50% reduced clip size, a minus 88% reduced max secondary ammo, a minus 15% slower weapon switch speed, and no random critical hits. So this is pretty much a way for you to be able to duel against other players that are trying to either mess with you or mess with your stuff. So if a sentry gun targets like a heavy from far away, that heavy is marked and you'll take less damage from all other sources except from that heavy alone. And you'll do more damage towards the heavy, but not to other players. So this is a nice weapon for one-on-one fights. However, the negatives make sure that you can't fully rely on this pistol. And yeah, in terms of more of a team fight, you won't be able to really deal damage across multiple targets, only against one. The next weapon we have is the frontal lobe, and while active, it gives a 75% increased sentry gun range and a 20% increased sentry fire rate. However, the negatives are a minus 5 metal drained per second, a minus 2 primary ammo drained per second, and no metal or ammo from dispensers. So this is a way to kind of boost up your sentry while you have this gun out. So in addition to having a weapon that you can defend yourself with, you'll also be in a way passively boosting up your sentry gun. However, the negatives make sure that you can't just completely have this weapon out at all times, for it will start draining your metal and primary ammo. So you'll definitely need to make sure to only whip this out during times where it's completely necessary. And the no metal or ammo from dispensers while this weapon is active, make sure that you can't just turtle down with a full level sentry nest. Anyways, that's all the weapons for the engineer, and let's finally move on to the medic. So the medic has a weapon called the Krail, and the Uber Charge provides a frontal projectile shield that blocks enemy projectiles. In addition to that, it has a plus 15% increased overcharge rate. However, the negatives are a 15% decreased overheal. So this one is pretty much the shield upgrade that you can get for your medic in the man versus machine mode. So it's actually pretty nice if we could actually have this in regular matches. I don't know how this will interact in normal game modes, but it would be really nice to actually see this as a medigun for us to be able to use. And the negatives just help offset what the positives of this gun provide, and yada yada. Anyways, so moving on, we have the Reanimator V2, and the uber charge from this one revives teammates with half health in the exact spot that they died. However, the negatives are a 20% decreased uber charge rate, a 15% slower healing rate, and the wielder cannot be revived. So, pretty much with this weapon is, even though you won't be providing like some form of offensive or defensive overcharge rate, this one is more about sustain. So if a teammate goes down and you have this overcharge ready to go, it will be able to revive that teammate on the spot that they died. And the negatives just help offset the amount of times you can revive dead teammates. And the wielder cannot be revived effect makes sure that you can't do some form of loop with other medics with other reanimators. The next one we have is the Toten Werfer. Probably butchered the name out of that one, but anyways, the overcharge applies an on-hit effect where enemies lose 10% of their ammo of the weapon they're currently holding, and the reload allows you to heal a second target at the same time, and the overcharge rate increases while you heal a second target. However, the negatives of this are a 25% decreased overcharge rate while healing one target, and the healing rate is split amongst healed targets. So with this weapon, the design of it definitely feels like it should be able to heal more than one target, compared to other mediguns where you can only heal one target at a time. This one will heal multiple, or probably just two. So with this, you're able to toggle being able to heal either one or two, and you gain bonuses for healing two and also negatives for doing the same thing. So it's pretty much just a balancing game between whether you want to heal teammates real quickly or build up your overcharge rate really quickly. And the overcharge is just a kind of another unique aspect, similar to one of the weapons that I previously mentioned for the engineer. I believe that's the Great Peace Preserver that I was previously mentioning. So anyways, that's just an idea for this weapon. Next up on the list is the Goob gun. And on hit, target is covered in a liquid which blocks healing except from supply closets and health packs for 15 seconds. And on top of that, the projectiles cannot be reflected. However, the negatives are a 25% slower firing speed and a 10% reduced damage. So this is just an idea for a reliable syringe gun for the medic. The medic has the Blutsauger, which helps heal him, and the Crusader's Crossbow, which allows you to heal targets from afar. But what about preventing your target from being able to heal themselves or heal other people? So this Goop gun was designed to be able to stop targets from healing themselves while they're covered in the liquid. And the negatives just help make sure that you can't spam the amount of hits onto the target. And yeah, other than that, not too much to talk about. The whole premise of this weapon idea was based around the design of this gun. So I feel like I nailed this one pretty well. And last but not least, we have the A118 prototype V2. and this one fires a projectile that has a chance to crit, which scales with the uber charge meter. However, the negatives are a 90% reduced clip size, a 50% reduced firing rate, and a 75% less primary ammo on wearer. So this is pretty much a highly combative version of the Crusader's crossbow, in which you're not healing targets, but you're doing damage based on the uber charge meter that you have currently filled up. So if you're at 100% uber charge, then this weapon will crit 100% of the time. And scaling from that, having 50% means this weapon will crit 50% of the time, 10%, only 10%, you pretty much get the idea. And the negatives make sure that you're pretty much firing one bolt at a time. Even though this gun kind of looks like a shotgun, it's definitely designed to be firing projectiles like the Crusader's crossbow. And other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all the weapon ideas that we've covered for this second part. And so with that, we are finally done with 24 weapon ideas for the next Team Fortress 2 update. Whether or not these actually get implemented, either the designs themselves or these ideas in some way, shape, or form, I don't know. I can't predict the future, so whatever Valve does, they do, and with a good reason. So, be sure to give this video a like if you liked any of the ideas. If you have an idea as how some weapons could be changed from the ones that I've mentioned in this video, or other weapon ideas that you've had, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. In addition to that, be sure to check out the description for the links to all the weapons in the workshop, and give those weapons a vote and a favorite, so that way we can actually see them in the game. It'll give Valve a good idea as to what weapons covered in this video that you'd like to actually see be implemented. And yeah, and hopefully from that we'd actually see some of these guns within the next Invasion or Spy vs Engie update, hopefully sometime soon. But with Valve time, you never know. Anyways, my name is TopCap Gaming. Thank you all so much for listening in, and I hope to see you all another time. Alright, take care. And to some of you that still might have your doubts